Hello, everyone. You are listening to your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. My name is Kiana Rivera, and I'm the Vice President of Program Development and Membership at the Chamber. And today, our special guest is Maximiliana Warburg. Hello, hello.
Hi.
Thank you for being here today. You guys know we are just going to go through her bio real quick, and then we will jump right in. So let's get started. Maximiliana Warburg is an experienced event management and business development professional with a background spanning luxury brands, private members clubs, and international consultancy. Known for her creativity and strategic vision, she has led a wide range of high-profile events, programs, and partnerships for elite clientele across the U.S. and Europe. Currently serving as head of events at Carriage House in Palm Beach, she oversees private dining, member programming, and brand partnerships with a focus on delivering personalized experiences that reflect the unique needs and preferences of members. Maximiliana's expertise in event management was honed during her time in London, where she worked with a prestigious institution such as the Burley Clubs. There, she produced exclusive events for high-profile members, ensuring every detail was meticulously planned and executed. Her ability to manage teams and budgets while collaborating with top vendors made her a trusted figure within the industry. She has also coordinated events for global luxury brands during her tenure with Polar Black Events, bringing her signature blend of creativity and logistical precision to every project. In addition to her achievements in event planning, Maximiliana has a proven track record in business development. During her time at Third Republic in New York, she led key recruitment initiatives, built relationships with industry leaders, and streamlined hiring processes. Her leadership and client-focused approach have been instrumental in helping companies achieve operational success. A graduate of Elon University with a bachelor's in international global studies, Maximiliana's academic journey took her across the world to places like Heidelberg University and Imperial College in London. Her travels and international exposure have broadened her cultural understanding, which she brings into her work, crafting globally inspired yet locally grounded experiences. And she is based between New York City and West Palm. So Max, holy cow,
Wow.
what a bio.
Makes it sound like I've done a lot more than I feel like I've done.
You definitely have. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm just so glad to have you on because after meeting you, gosh, I met you like 8 or I feel like it's been a long
It feels
time.
like a long time.
But I think that's just because we have this great connection. So I feel like I've known you forever. But honestly, it was just a short time ago where I met you at Carriage House and you were like, what's the deal with the chamber? And I was like, you're right. What is the deal with the chamber? And we met over coffee and just talked about ideas specifically for the Carriage House. And I'm so excited to have you on because so many people have started asking us because of our partnership that we have, like, the Carriage House, what's it like? And I'm like, oh, you don't know? It's like, here's the tea. Let me tell you.
Love that.
But first and foremost, I'm going to call you Max because I always call you Max.
Please do.
And I want to start off with how did you get to Florida and just kind of talk about school and earlier years?
Sure. So, well, Florida was definitely never on my list of places to come to, but I am so happy to be here. I was living in London prior to COVID and then moved back to New York while the pandemic was going on, and took kind of a job in recruitment.
Okay.
Just to kind of bide my time until the world opened back up, because obviously events were not happening then, or certainly not as much as they had been. And then I got a call from my previous employer from when I was working in London at the Burley Clubs.
Okay.
And they said, would you move to Florida? And I was like, yeah.
You're like, I hope so. Why not?
Yeah, it sounds nice. The weather I hear is good.
But you've never been to West Palm or Palm Beach?
Never.
Ever. And then you took this job kind of not knowing.
Exactly.
Wow.
And I just said, okay, when do you need me? I think they called me in October. I came in November.
Wow.
Of 2022, I want to say. And then I've been
here since.
Been here since.
Holy cow. Well, and then walk me through real quick. So you were in London during COVID. What brought you to London? Were you studying, or did you go from New York to London for a job? You were studying in New York. Timeline.
Yeah. So I studied at Elon, which is in North Carolina. And during my time there, I did a study abroad program at Imperial in London.
Okay.
And I fell in love with the guy, and I fell in love with the city.
There you go.
And so I stayed. I essentially went back for graduation in May of 2018 and then moved right to London.
Holy cow.
Kind of like hit the streets with my resume.
Yeah.
Found a cool opportunity with this luxury events company. And I had not really thought of a career in events. I wanted to do nonprofit work.
Really?
And fundraising and international kind of nonprofit work. And that's what I had studied.
Okay.
But then I fell into events and I loved it being project-based.
Right.
And I loved that I could be running around all the time and it wasn't the same.
Well, it's never the
thing.
same, thank goodness. Because otherwise it's just.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, it's boring, honestly.
Really. Like it's fun and you're kind of putting out fires
Right.
and that gives me energy. And I know you know that feeling
yeah.
well. So then I stayed and then COVID happened, breakup happened, kind of all in the same month. And my dad was like, come home.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Like, just come back.
Just come back. We don't know how long this is going to last. So I packed like a carry-on and I went back to the States and then eventually shipped everything back. And
back here.
that's how I ended up here.
Holy cow. What a journey. And I think too, just your experience in London. So now that gives you work experience just at such a broader level. And so you were doing events in London too, you mentioned, right? Mm-hmm. So then you get back to New York, your previous boss calls you and they're like, hey, what do you think about this idea? Like, what was your first thought when that happened? Were you like, sure, like, I guess this sounds okay? Or are you like, you know what? I'm just going to try it. I'm feeling really saucy, so let's go, or something like that.
A little bit of everything. I mean, yeah, I think I was at the point where I was like, I'm ready to leave New York.
Okay.
I've came back for 2 years. I'm ready to get out there.
Well, because you grew up in New York as well. So like you went to school, did the whole New York thing.
The whole New York thing.
Yes. And then you
New
were
York's
like,
great.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure you go back, like you love it, but you were like, okay, I feel like I've spent enough of my life in New York. So now it's time to start something new.
Always.
So
always.
When you landed, did you land at PBI or did you land in Fort Lauderdale?
Landed at PBI.
Okay.
I came for a weekend first just to check out the club, meet the team.
Right.
And I was really like, wow, am I doing this?
Oh
I
my
guess I'm doing
gosh.
this. And then, I accepted the job offer and moved down.
Wow. And then you started pretty much right away after you moved. Right. Mm-hmm. So walk me through, what is the Carriage House?
Oh gosh, what isn't the Carriage
House?
It is such a special place. And I think, our founders and owners are the real vision behind it, obviously. The design is impeccable.
Right.
It's a place for our membership to really have a home away from home.
Right.
And to feel comfortable and safe, knowing that nobody's going to have their phone out. And it's really just a nice place to get together with friends and enjoy great food, great drinks, great programming. Exactly. I like to think.
Yes. No, it is. Give yourself some credit. It's amazing programming.
It's fun. And it's such a fun place to be and such a beautiful place to be.
Right.
So for those people who have been, I think it's such a treat.
Right. Well, and I think too, just touch on the fact that there's like a no phone policy. Like, I love that because especially in just today's day and age, it's like everybody's got this, take my picture, like, but we're talking like, we don't have to stop and take a picture. We can just talk. Like, so tell me about that. I bet that just provides such relief to your members.
I think so. And I think to everyone, right? I think we can all say that when we're on a trip and we're having fun with friends or whoever, it feels so good to unplug. And I think, like you said, we don't do that enough.
Right.
So to have that enforced and to be
it's like no.
And
Unplug.
it's funny because people check themselves, right? Like we have to even say, sorry, I'm so sorry there's no photos. And it's hard because it's a beautiful place. You want to record it. Right. But it only makes it more special because you have to be there to see and feel
you have
it.
to be there and feel it. And I love that you said that because it does make it so special. And that's where, because you're right, the design is impeccable. And walk me through like the rooms, like just the design of even like when you walk in and you go to the left room. I don't even know what the name is called, but it's so beautiful. You just are like, this is like a museum. Like I just feel like it's so gorgeous. You're transported to another time.
100%. I think what I always say when I walk through the space is it's a journey because no room is the same. And each one, if you think about it, you're like, how can this work? I'm in a blue room, but right next door is a bright red room. And like your brain just can't really comprehend how those palettes can go together. And yet it does so beautifully.
It does.
So you get to kind of explore, I feel like the world really, like there's different influences from different places all over the world. And you're in you're not in a huge space.
Right. It's
so
not
you're able
large.
to really get a lot done in such a small area.
I think too, like what you guys have done with just, and then the partners you've worked with for the remodel of that space. And it's very, you have no signage, none. And it is, you wouldn't know that it's there unless you've been there. And I think that just the work that you guys have done to the exterior as well as interior is exactly like you said. You get transported into a different space, into a different world every step you take. And of course, like the service is impeccable. Your team is just like top notch. It's just everything that you would think of as luxury and that type of feeling. So kudos to you and your team. Amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, no, we have a wonderful team.
Wow.
We are so lucky.
Yeah.
I really feel that way.
Well, and then, so real quick, you're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide with the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. Our special guest is Max Warburg from the Carriage House. And we're talking all things Carriage House, all things travel. I mean, we're just talking all over the plate here. You know, we love it. So I want to touch on your programming and all of the different opportunities that your members can participate in. And walk me through, like, when you are planning a season, like if you want to reference last season and just all the work that you did last season, you build this beautiful, it's not a pamphlet because it's not just some like brochure.
It's called a concertina.
There we go.
We call it.
Oh, I love that. Okay, tell me about it.
I've never heard that
Concertina.
before, but it is fabulous.
Tell me, because literally it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Thank you. There will be a new one for this season, which I will absolutely share with you.
Yes, I can't wait.
The programming is so much fun. I mean, I just love planning things, and I know you do too. So for us, it's just it just happens, whether people want it or not. We're the friends who are going to be like, hey, how about this or this or that or that? So that part is just fun. And I think what is especially fun and also challenging and exciting is making it so specific and tailored to our membership. Right. So how do we kind of hit all of our pillars, from fashion to games to fancy dinner? You know, it just goes across all these different fun facets of life and lifestyle. So during the summer, when we're in our off season, me and my team will sit and we'll say, okay, let's program, let's get creative. Right. What can we do? So we've brought in, you know, a Singer car, which is a really cool new kind of car that I can't speak on because it's too advanced for me. Right. But really cool programming, or doctors who talk about longevity, or we do mahjong mornings or painting classes or trivia nights. And I have so much fun writing the trivia questions. So I think it kind of covers like a lot of bases, you know, fashion presentations and all of that. And that's what our members can expect to see. We have this amazing program that our chef puts on called Cuisine de Voyage.
Oh, what is that? Tell
me. We travel the world. So in November, we'll go to India, and it will be this beautiful Indian feast. But then we're also supporting that with different art classes, Ayurvedic kind of in conversation, and doing all this fun stuff to just really kind of full circle it back into our programming. So that's
good. And then when it comes to, just like you said, you work with your team to create this experience for your members because you have a diverse membership. So you touch every facet, like you said. And what's that creative process like? Are you guys thinking, okay, like, are we going to play off of what we did last season, or like what's trending right now? Like, or is it something that's like, let's bring history back into the conversation, or is it all encompassing altogether?
I think we try to be all encompassing. I think first we look at what went really well last season, of course. Like, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Right. But a lot of it is...
We also don't want to just, like, put it out again. It's like you need some sort of
what's the twist?
Flavor. Right?
Yes, what's the flavor? What are we sprinkling in this time? So it's a lot of that. I think that the fun part is it's like, selfishly, sometimes it's like, I think a silent disco would be so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was like, silent disco, what are you?
What do you mean?
And
that's
we
such
did
a good
it,
idea.
and people had the best time.
Oh, good.
So I think it's also trying things that are a little bit like...
Maybe you could seem out there, like you say, and then it's just like, no, this was actually a really great time.
And people like to have fun. And you do, if you take away phones.
Right. Then it's like, I'm in the moment.
You're in the moment, and you can really just engage and be silly. I personally loved making murder mystery parties with my friends. So last season we brought in a murder mystery party. And it's, you know, you're with people you might not know.
Yeah.
Because there's not new members, but membership doesn't all know each other. So it's a great opportunity to just have fun, and you have to become somebody else, and that can be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But they did it, and I think everyone had a blast. And it's stuff like that that's just so much fun to experiment with.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that you said murder mystery because I immediately had an idea pop in my head, but I'll talk to you about this later because I don't want the world to know. It's a good idea.
Okay,
we'll just save that for later.
Table that.
Exactly. But to transition and just so people know a little bit more about you, like what do you love to do? Like what are your hobbies? I mean, I know you have some cats, a fellow cat mom over here. So just share a little bit about that.
Sure. I love traveling. I love reading. Anyone has a book club, invite me.
I know. Shout out to the book clubs. I know I have to get you in touch with the book club. I'm sorry, I forgot. But yes, I will make that happen.
But yeah, I love getting together with people. And I think that's why you and I get together, get along so well. It's because we really love that. And I think love learning about people and talking to people and just being in the world.
Well, and just like the different perspectives too, because it's like I try to be really intentional about having a group of friends that are not like me. Or like I have some that are, but then I have some that are just so out there sometimes. You're like, are we really friends? Yeah. Like we are. I know how. How did our worlds collide? And I think I try to do that on purpose because I'm very conscious of that because sometimes if you just are with the same people all the time, you really do become who you spend time with. Right. And it's like, I never want to be that person that is just so closed off or so close-minded. It's like, I want to hear from everybody all the time and ask the questions, have the, not arguments, but sometimes it'll get heated and that has to be okay.
Debate is good.
Debate is good. Yeah. And then you come back, you hug it out and you're fine,
100%.
Or it's like, we just come together and laugh and really share in that community and just that aspect of friendship. So I love that I have that with you because it's like the world travel that you have, I like live vicariously through you. And I'm just like, tell me about this. Like, tell me about this story. Like, well, and I'm going to tell you, like, tell me about a story in London where you were just like, this is... I feel like you're like Emily in Paris, but in London sometimes.
I wish I was
like,
that fabulous.
I'm like,
I wish I had that wardrobe.
Right?
I know,
exactly. I was like, can I just please have your closet?
Every time I watch that show. I don't, I did most of my traveling, I think probably when I was studying abroad.
Oh, okay.
Because once you start working.
It doesn't happen.
Well, it doesn't happen as much as you would like it to. And of course, when you're in Europe, you can bop.
Right.
And flights are cheaper, so you get to go more places.
Right.
But I do think there's something different about studying and traveling because it's like I don't know, you have an appetite for it. You're more free. You're staying in hostels. Yeah. You're being a little bit more reckless.
Were you staying in hostels?
Always.
Oh, tell me what was that like? Like
it's something.
Like, and your best experience, just like, where were you?
Oh,
like,
okay. I'm trying to think.
I know. Or like, walk me through the moment where you were like, I can't believe I am in this hostel having these friends eating this food. Like, what was the craziest dish you've ever eaten from your travels, maybe, or like something like that?
I'm not afraid to try anything. So, like, I went to Peru and I tried a guinea pig.
You tried a guinea pig?
I've had pig's ears in Lithuania. Oh. Like, I'll take a bite. And I've had pet guinea pigs. Oh my gosh! But it's their specialty dish that you have to try it.
Right? Yeah. Oh, I'd have to close my eyes. I have to. I'm not eating this.
And it's not, it's not for everyone. I wouldn't necessarily say I would have it again, but
you tried it
to try.
Right.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I mean, in Europe, I loved Prague, and I remember. I think that Europe, not that the U.S. doesn't, but it has such a long history.
Right.
And the architecture and the stories, it's just like you can't not be gripped by it.
Right.
So I think almost every time you wake up and you're like, where am I? Yes. What year is it? Like, why do I feel? And my friends always tease me because every new place I go, I'm moving here.
And you're like,
are you moving? And I say it every time.
Really?
I fall in love with a new city probably every day. And I'm like, I'm moving here. They're like, okay, Max. Like,
we'll see.
Right.
Oh, that's amazing. I think I had an experience like that. I traveled abroad a couple years ago, and it was my first time out of the country. I did Oktoberfest in Germany, and then we did I felt like we did all of Italy. We did Tuscany, Cinque Terre,
God, must have been amazing.
I mean, it was fast. We did a lot. We know better not to try to pack so much on one trip next time, but I was all like our first times out of the country. Incredible. So we're like, we're going to make the most of it.
100%.
Like we're going to we don't have to sleep. It'll be fine. And I remember we were staying in Rome, and honestly, Rome wasn't my favorite city out of Italy. I really prefer like Tuscany or Florence over Rome. I thought Rome was very clustered and kind of intense, but I remember I opened up our kitchen windows. It was like out of a movie. Like, I'm not even joking. Those two like shutter window things. I push it open and I just overlook the city. And I was like, wow,
I'm really doing this.
I made it.
Yeah.
I was like, I made it in life.
Right.
This is it for me.
I love that though.
I feel
true.
like you've had those experiences and you just are so grateful for the life that you've had and lived.
So grateful.
So, well, I'm just so thankful that you joined us today, and tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to learn more about the Carriage House, if they need volunteers, because you're an advocate for nonprofits. Yeah. How can they get in touch with you?
Email me, yes. I guess. That's probably the best way.
It says you can reach her at maximiliana.warburg@gmail. So please reach out.
Not anymore, because that email, I lost my password. It's been a whole thing. So it is maximilianawarburg95 for the time being.
Shout out 95 babies, okay? That's me and you.
Ones.
We're good ones. But thank you so much for being a guest. Again, our guest was Maximiliana Warburg from the Carriage House. Please reach out to her, and she'll be around, so don't worry. You'll see her at events. And just come and say hi to her. She's newer to the area, but we absolutely love having you. So thank you.
Thanks for having me.